he knew I was going to do this. I mean, he had to expect that when half my chips are in, I'm going to fire the other half on the flop. So it's not really a surprise to him that I would move all in there. So that's why he called me with just a bad ace, because he knew I might have done the same thing with a hand like Queen 10 or Queen Jack.
Yeah, 1 over or 2?
1 over. Well, yeah, 1 over.
That's right. He
10,000 call.
Mark pulled the stop and go out of his playbook, and he made it work perfectly.
I might do the same thing with whatever I called the first 10 with. So.
Chad needed a 4 to chop or an ace to send Mark home.
4 and ace.
Yep. It's 10-7. Very dark now. For what? For a lot to say.
Smile, Marcus.
So it was a pretty easy double up for me. I was actually rooting for him to call the other 10,000 because I thought he only had 1 overcard, and I was right. So that was a big hand, and that got me up to par. I mean, we were all basically even after that hand. So after this this hand with the 2 6s, now I'm up to about just over 40,000. I think I actually had the most chips after that pot, but the 3 of us are all still basically even. So it's anybody's ball game. But with the blinds so high, you know, things were going to happen quick. I mean, nobody was going to be sitting around.
The blinds go up pretty quickly at this stage, and with what the blinds were at, blinds are 2 and 4,000. I had like 37,000 in chips. I have an M of like 6. An M means that the blind will come around 6 times to me, and if I don't play a hand, I'll be broke. So when you're in that situation and also you're playing 3-handed, pretty much any ace you have to gamble with.
With the stacks effectively even, the players toasted their bottled waters and set out to crown a champion.
Wow, we just toasted water on national television 3-way. That's pretty bad.
Vodka.
Could be the old Everclear cheers.
Once again, Mark picked up a pocket pair, and incredibly, Chad picked up ace-deuce yet again.
12.
I could have just moved all in, but I figured I have the best hand here, and he might make a play with something. I know I'm probably not way ahead, but at this point, any small edge is about all you can hope for against a good player like Chad.
When Mark raised, it was either I'm going to muck my hand or I'm going to push all in. There was no calling. Ace-deuce offsuit is not a hand that you want to play and see a flop. I only had 6 rounds to go, and I thought to myself, well, first of all, this is play to win. You know, you don't get any extra money to move up to 2nd place. So that factors into your decision making. And I went through a whole bunch of hands that Mark could have, and the right move, in my opinion, is to push all in with the ace all in.
I call.
There it was.
So when he moved all in, I was pretty happy to call him with the 2 4s. I already had 12,000 in, and it was like another, say, 25,000 for me to call. So it was a no-brainer call for me.
The flop was harmless, and Mark was well on his way to eliminating Chad and taking a big chip lead.
Not enough thought.
Chad needed an ace on the river to avoid going from first to out in 2 hands.
Is that it?
That's it for me. I'm not sorry about the play that I made. I'm sorry that the ace didn't come on the flop, but you know, that's poker, and you know, Mark made the right play calling after I pushed all in.
And my hand held up, and all of a sudden I'd gone from like 10,000 to 80,000 in about 5 minutes.
Chad's elimination left Mark and Ali to battle heads up for 120,000.
This week, heads-up play didn't last that long. For Mark Gregorich, that was a good thing.
When Ali and I got down to heads up, I had him about 2-1. I had about 80,000. He had about 40. The blinds were 2 and 4,000, which means he really didn't have any room to sit around. He only had about 10 big blinds. And so from my perspective, anytime I could win the money in the middle without a fight, it was going to be worthwhile because it was going to make him that much weaker. And when he did get it all in, even if I did lose the pot and double him up, he wasn't going to have as many chips. So I really didn't want to give him any walks. I didn't want to give him any room to see a flop and out-flop me or get lucky or anything like that. I wanted to put pressure on him.
It was just the third hand of heads up when Mark Gregorich completed one of the most improbable comebacks in Poker After Dark history.
I'm all in. And the final hand, I moved all in again with ace-queen.
Oh, that's the first one. I call.
He called me with king-7, which isn't a great hand, but considering that he knew that I was going to be pushing him around and playing a lot of hands aggressively, he figured his king-high might be good. And he was right, because if I had something like, say, 10-9 suited or queen-jack or something like that, I probably would have made the same play.
That's really pretty good hand.
That's not that.
Ali wasn't in great shape, but he knew that if he hit, he'd flip-flop with Mark and take the chip lead.
Pair. Oh, I got sweat.
Well, an ace will get it over with.
That it will. Nice. Oh, God. Don't do it.
A king or a 7 didn't hit the river, and Ali was back to his day job as the voice of Poker After Dark.
Turns out I had a good hand. I didn't have to win, but it did, and I'm happy it did.
After the break, Marianella sits down with a happy Mark Gregorich.
Welcome back to the director's cut of Poker After Dark. I'm Marianella, and I'm sitting here with this week's winner, Mark Gregorich. Mark, congratulations.
Thanks.
You were under 10,000 and you had a very strong comeback. How did you do it?
I got really lucky. I think it started with I had the queen-4 when I had to call when Ali moved all in. And, I hated calling. I know he has a better hand than me, but, with so many of my chips in the pot already and being so short-stacked, I really don't have a choice. And so I got lucky there, and then I won the hand against Chad, doubled up with the 2 6s against his, I think it was ace-deuce or ace-3. And after that, I don't think I lost a pot after the queen-4 hand, so it was tough all the way through, and then it kind of got easy at the end. I made some hands, and everything went my way.
And Mark, you write for Card Player. Can we expect to read a little something about this win?
Yeah, I'll probably, I'm always stretching for material for columns, so this will give me an excuse to write a few.
Who did you think your biggest competition was going to be when you sat down at the table tonight?
Well, I knew Chad was going to be there because he's been on a roll, and he's really taking the tournament seriously, and he always tries his best. So there was no doubt Chad was going to be a real threat. I was a little concerned getting heads up if I did get heads up. To get heads up with Howard. I think he plays situations extremely well, and I've always had a lot of respect for him as a player. So he wasn't the guy I wanted to get heads up with. I'm not saying Ali was or anything like that. I didn't, but I knew it definitely wasn't Howard. So it was tough. Everybody played well, and it was. it came down to I got the hands at the end, and that's why I won,
yeah.
So I'll take it.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Mark Gregorich defeated 5 other poker analysts en route to winning a Poker After Dark title. On Monday, a new group of players join us for another exciting week of poker action. I'm Marianella. Good night from Las Vegas.